Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Greg here with update. I think it's update 4 of the Armistice and Remembrance Day group build, hosted by a military modeller Paul, who's doing exactly the same kit as me. So I'll pop across and see his. And Gav Booth is doing a superb job on his yeoman on the horse. Absolutely brilliant. You want to pop across there, I'll leave a link to theirs. Their channels to pop across and see how they're doing. So what we've done at the moment, this is non-permanent, we've just blue tacked this on at the moment. It needs trim and sorting out, blah blah blah. But we'll have a zoom in and see what we've got done so far. There's bits to go on there yet. We've still got PE to add yet, so we'll go through things. So we'll start at the front. These are the spare tracks. These are on now. These are on permanently now, and on the front, I made a little. I looked on one of the pictures Paul sent me, the machine gun with a little tarp over it, so I thought that would be interesting to do, so I put one on there. It's basically using the glasses cases, you know, the glasses stuff that I used for tarps and things like that. That's what I used, cut it up, it was painted and it was used, what did I use it for? Well, of course these, it's used for them as well. Strap the things on the gun and that, so I used a bit of that. And conformed it to shape with PVA glue and painted it with a bit of khaki and then weathered it a little bit. So let's see what we can do at the front. See, we have the tracks all done on there. It's obviously all the lower half needs weathering yet. We've done no weathering at all in the lower half, well, a little bit of weathering but no mud or anything like that. Go through right around again. So all I've done on here now since last time was the paint was painted. So what I've used now is oils basically on here. This is oil work on here, most of this, and a brown wash to just emphasise the bolt heads and things like that. That's 99% of that is just pure oils. All the it's a bit bright. Sometimes you can't quite tell with the weather. And let me just see if it makes any difference if I knock a light off. No, not really. Makes it worse, doesn't it? But yeah, it's all done with weather and all with the Abtalon oils, which was I used the engine grease and industrial earth just to get that dark tonage over it, and same again with the turret. All work on there, and I've actually used some black umber to do a bit of chipping, and obviously the lighter colour of the olive drab as well. I've done a bit of chipping with the olive drab, the black umber, and the British bronze green as well. It's subtle. It isn't, you know, you can't really tell it that much. I didn't want it chipped to buggery on this one. So on the rear again, we've got the exhaust shroud, which I thought with the heat surely it wouldn't stay green, so I've rusted that up and left speckles of the green left on it. Obviously some part of it's still there, the paintwork is still there, but I thought that will look a bit better than just having it plain green, so I did that as well. These have got the clasps, I've got to add it to the shovels, and to the tops we have some butterfly clips, butterfly nuts to go on top of the water canister, and the flimsies for the fuel. That needs to be there, so they need to be on bottom. I'm going to put them on a little bit later because normally I shall knock them off. I did a little bit of chain, I've got all the stowage to go on here. Also on the front as well, you can see the front, I've made a jack block on the front there, you see it? Yeah, just made that needs weathering yet, but I made that jack block, and I didn't have any small enough pins, nut heads or bolts, so these are the tops of pins cut off with pliers and drilled into it and put it through the actual wood, and then used foil for the case on the outside, and Tamiya tape and a piece of foil for the strap in the centre. So fairly straightforward, so I just had to do something a bit different. Plus I knocked the butterfly clips and everything off on this side, so that's why I've really done it as well. What else? So yeah, so this is just on blue tack, the more has to be trimmed and sorted out. This one is nearly practically finished now. The actual cover for the gun is nearly done. It just needs a bit of weathering, obviously with the, I'll show you in a moment with the diorama, but this is all going to be weathered along the bottom. So let me see where we are. Yeah, that needs weathering. Blood, mud and everything. Well, not mud, more dust and muck than mud, more than anything really, to go along each side. I weathered a little bit, you can see the streaking off the oils. And a pin wash as well, just to emphasise some of the bolt heads again. And if you see, I don't know if I showed you last time, on the actual springs I just used some of the polishing powder on the springs. You may not see it once the weathering's on there, but I did it anyhow. So I think that's where we are with the Churchill itself. So I've got some of the PE bits to use. That's the PE set, which has got to be used. There's only a few little bits there that actually I haven't to use on this one, but I have the butterfly heads to go on there, the clamps to go on the spades. I have also got all the stowage to put on here, which is all in here ready to go. Once I finalise the positions on them, I shall put them on. What we need towards the end as well, so we'll just move the Churchill away slightly. Let's zoom out again. Out this end. Yeah, I may see a bit better with the weather now. It's a bit darker with the actual the oils. So I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use some of the Adam Wilder stuff, the splatter muds and that, which I have. You have a dark earth, a brown wood, and a Adam Wilder stuff, which is the and brown mud splatter. I've got these three. I'm thinking about using some of those. Maybe not all three, but I'll use 2 or 3. You never know. See what kind of effect they get, but they'll be on the lower hull, depending on the diorama, which I'll show you now. Let's pop them in down there and out of the way. Oh, sorry, I should have said this. I hope everybody had a fantastic New Year and do as they're told and try to enjoy as best they can. I think over here in England now we've been moved to Tier 4, which is the highest level, but by looking at the newspapers and listening to what's been said on the radio, we have an announcement tonight at 8 o'clock, which is from Great Britain, that we could be going into full lockdown again, like we did in March, April, May, June, that sort of thing. Total lockdown. Which means if that's the case, then I can't go out again for another 3 or 4 months, which I'm looking forward to. But never mind all that, that's finished. I just hope everybody's had a fantastic New Year and had a brilliant Christmas as best you could in these strange times. So I should have said that at the very beginning. Alright, so let's move the Churchill off there for a second. Pop that there, and I shall get what I've done to the diorama so far. I've done a little bit more on it, but not a great deal. So I've grassed it. Looks bright, that grass on it isn't as bright as that, and I've got my trees to finish yet. So this is just static grass. I think it's 2 and 4. I've got to just tease it a little bit and not make it all the same, you know, all the length. And I've got this part here is taped off underneath all. This is where the actual Churchill is going to go. So we've got on here as well, we've got some tea bags and some of the leaf litters from the leaves that I collected and zapped up in a food blender, just dotted about, and a bit of the what are they called? The train guys use them. Can't remember the company. Just like a green small leaf. What the hell are they called? I gotta find out. I can't remember the name. Knock stuff. Not fine green. That's what they are. And some of the already made little flower things. So I'm really trying to Churchill on it. Let's have a look, see what it looks like so far with it on. So obviously this is going to be put on there like so. So and the tree will be where we are. So I decided to leave all this bare. This is just going to be trundling through here. I may have a couple of figures on the outside, a couple of English figures walking beside the tank, but I do have the where's my figures gone? think these are quite finely finished them, I think. And we've got the two figures here. We've got the tanker itself, commander itself. And this needs dull coat now to get rid of the shine, and he'll be sitting in his cupola. And the same again with, I think, presume this is the loader or gunner. They just need to be dull coated to take a shine off them, and they'll be ready to go. And then I've got all the stuff ready for my trees, to finish all my trees, which I'll just zoom out again. Zoom out. Zoom in, pillock. That's as far as it'll zoom out. Yeah, I've still got to do my trees yet, but I've got my stuff together. Tried to get order some spray adhesive. It was a nightmare. I finally got all of this stuff. I had some others of the cap tack stuff, and it was just coming out like string. So I knocked that on the head. So I got some of this stuff. Ultra tape, art and craft adhesive. So we shall try this for the for them to get the trees on there. Yeah, so I might have just a couple of figures walking along beside the tank. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see. And that'll be it really. He said with the leaves on the tree, so the fern. I'm trying to get some asparagus fern, and it's impossible to get anywhere them at the moment. You know, obviously with lockdown they'll be non-existent from now on. Yeah, so what I'm going to do in here as well is I'm putting some dry mud in there, and I can squash the tank into it once I've taken all the tape off there and squash it down into the so it's not floating on mid-air, as I say, which is not too bad at the moment actually. It's sort of sank in a little bit, so, but yeah, so it's getting there, and then obviously you need to tidy all this up. But just take my time. See, I haven't really spent a lot of time again at the bench, just bits and pieces. Obviously with Christmas now being finished in New Year, we're starting to take all the decorations down and one thing and another, so we're nearly there actually, but I think it's got a few bit more to go in the loft for that, so then we're back to normality, whatever that is. Will we ever get back to normality? No, right, I'm not going to talk about it no more. Yeah, so I find a couple of figures just to be walking along beside the tank. Obviously this tree is going to be all standing up obviously on there, and one of them is obviously falling down. Obviously you're going to be breaking the branches down and things like that. So basically all this is just dowel, wooden dowel. These are florist wire, so I drill little holes, and it sounds a lot. It took me quite a bit to pop them in. They've all got to be shaped here. They've got to be twisted and shaped and bent here. And I started putting this is what I did with a flop with the which I thought was adhesive glue, was I tried to put the dead leaves on, you know, the dead stuff underneath, and it got all over the bloody trunk, so I'm going to have to repaint the trunk and try and brush some of that off and go again and start again with this one. So I was waiting for that to arrive, which it has now, so we can start doing the trees. Yeah, so I'm happy, very happy. So next day I'll be doing the lower half, weathering on the lower half of the hull. I'm fine with this. It isn't mucky, it's more mud. It's not dry earth than mud on here, so that's what it's going to represent on the side of the tank as well. I shall see what I've got. Maybe using my own muck out of my garden here, I don't know, to go with this. Or even the tea bags with PVA and maybe a couple of pigments in there. Yeah, dried tea leaves, brilliant stuff. Just split your bags, spread them on a flat surface like a tray, and just leave them to dry out. Or pop them in the oven when you finish the oven, cooking your dinner or something. Just pop them in there, and it'll help dry them out. Instead of throwing the tea bags away, it's a good bit of ground scatter. It really is. Right, so I'm starting to waffle now. So I'll go back now and start doing the weather on the low hull and the trees. Once I've done that, I'll get back to you and we'll see where we are from there. So then we can move along, hopefully, to the next build, which it's either going to be the Meng German Jumbo, or I think with Gav and Paul we're going to do I can't remember the gentleman's name. He's good friends with Gav. Sorry, I can't remember his name. apologise. He's actually a figure painter, and he's going to join us as well for a T-34 build, either T-34 74 or 85. 85 is my favourite tank, so I'll probably do what one in my stash. I think I've got the new. Have I got the rifle one? Yes, of course I've got the rifle. I picked it up really cheaply. Before all these prices started with this 20%, 40% on the bloody VAT on bloody YouTube, not YouTube, on eBay and everywhere. Because apparently the HMRC are whinging and moaning that all these companies are not paying the VAT and things, so now they're slapping charges on for us to suffer from, but nothing we can do about it. So, this is Greg signing off, and thank you again for viewing, and all my subscribers. I really do appreciate it, and I'm so sorry that I've not replied to any of my posts. I don't know, when I get to bed at night time I spend a little bit of time on a computer and I just fall asleep, which is still a part of the, from having the cancer. Unfortunately I just get so tired and I fall asleep sometimes. Sometimes I don't just watching a movie or a documentary, and I just forget all about it. But I promise I will at some point get back to you, and obviously for the 2,000 subscriber giveaway, I haven't forgotten about that. That will be along at some point this week. So this is Greg signing off, and we'll see you very soon.